the next question, which is, what has been your biggest triumph or your biggest breakthrough just in this season that you've been single?
For me, it has been doing what, that's my motto, like doing what makes you happy and just forgetting the rest. So literally for the longest, I have wanted braces, and I felt like it would just, elevate, like, I don't want to say elevate my confidence, but like just do something that would just, make me happy. And so during the pandemic, during all this, I was like, you know what, Vera, just go ahead and pull the trigger. And so I did it last November, and so it was like, okay, like when I first got them, I was just like, bro, I really have braces. Wow, I really have braces. But like, it just was something that was like a check off of my little list, so.
You look cute with them,
And then even with talking with people, because I was trying to, I guess, psych myself out so I can like kind of deter from getting them. And so people were like, you don't need braces, you don't need braces. Even mom and dad, like, why would you get braces? You don't need braces. I'm just like, I see that you don't see that I need them, but this is about me, and I feel like I want them and I need them. So like, I guess putting people's opinions like on the back burner and just doing what would make me happy. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because we are taking care of ourselves all 2021. We're making decisions that are going to benefit us, no matter what nobody says.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Okay, sorry. Uche, why don't you go next?
I don't know that I've had a breakthrough. Maybe I have if I really think about it. I feel like throughout this last decade, I'm always trying to figure out who I am and what I want so that I can feel established and kind of comfortable with who I am and what I'm doing before I want to add or mix in anything else to it. So just sort of learning how to do that has probably been a breakthrough. And I'm learning that through, living on my own, going to school, getting more responsibility as an adult and making more decisions on my own without having to consult people for everyone. Although, Ezinne, I consult you a lot. Thank you. What else? Just relationships with people, like friendships, as well as like dating relationships, and getting to know who you are, discovering things about yourself that you never had the context for before. So I guess those are like smaller breakthroughs of getting to know yourself.
Breakthroughs with the capital B. Like, it is. Those are major.
I feel like cutting off relationships was a big thing too. Like cutting off the friendships that not necessarily are toxic, but were not like
adding to you, or
my other motto is like, if you're not helping, then you're hurting. So it's like people who weren't adding anything into my life had to so.
And that's really important to be able to recognize that, make that decision, and then actually do it. So I would say that's a struggle of mine, is like once you realize that something is not serving you or providing value, you actually have to let it go. You actually have to cut it out. Sometimes that can be hard depending on what the thing or relationship or person is.
Yeah.
What, sorry, just to, I have a side question. So when it comes to just whether like there are people that need to kind of just exit from your life, in some way or another, are y'all like let's just straight cut? Are y'all, let's try to have a conversation about it, let's try to amend? Are like, what is do you guys have a formula for that? Like, have you noticed a pattern within yourself?
It's not a formula. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's not amending. I feel like you amend relationships that, maybe someone has done me wrong or whatever. And it's not necessarily like these people did me wrong. It's just like, you know, as you get older, you start to, you know, want different things and stuff like that. And you want things out of people. And if they're still doing and acting the same way like when you were, you know, 25, like I'm 28, you know, you need to match my energy type of thing. And so for me, like, I'm just that type of person. It's not hard for me to just like cut people off. Like, it's not hard at all. So
do you just stop talking to them, or do you?
I mean,
let it fade?
It's like a fade thing. It's not like a we talked yesterday and all of a sudden you're blocked. Like, I've never blocked anybody. It's like been like a slow fade, like a slow, like we don't talk as much, we don't hang out as much, like, you know. So it's like a slow, it's just like a slow thing, you know.
Bevel, you said you had a formula.
I had a formula. I mean, listen, I am a very I'm a very vulnerable, open, and transparent person. And so, first things first, I love having conversations. I will, if I ever feel slighted by anybody in any kind of way, boom, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about it. Now, here's the other thing. If I myself, if I don't feel comfortable having a conversation about it with that person quite yet, then I'm gonna have to let them off the hook, because it's like, if I don't feel, you know, I mean, I hold myself accountable in that context. Like, listen, if I don't feel comfortable bringing it up, I'm not gonna expect people to walk around with a mind reading, you know, capability. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And so either I have a conversation about it or I let it go. And then once I do have a conversation about it, if it's not well received at all, I mean, the choice is simple. Just leave. And that's, I leave. They can sit there and, you know, have their snack or whatever, but I get going with the quickness.
Yeah, there's no need.
For me, I never just like do a hardcore cut anybody out, like block. Unless that person is coming back to me in a toxic manner where they want to continue to enjoy me, hear me out, you know, have me lend them my ear, but they refuse to give me what it was I asked for. And not in terms of like them being, I don't know, not too much. I don't feel like I asked for too much. So when I do ask for something such as don't cross a boundary, or if I grant you this openness in this context, you at the very least have to tell me why you're not being open with me in that context, or something like. But if you consistently show that you're willing to let our relationship deteriorate because you get to have what you want and I don't, I'm just gonna go. And I always wish you well. Like, I just pray for them out the door. Gotta put that stick of distance in between them and just keep it moving.
Yeah, no hard feelings. It's just what it is.
Yeah. I think once I got to a point where I realized that when it comes to just like me, myself, like the energy that I bring into a relationship, into a situation, like it's a gift. And I feel like everyone should kind of like think of like, you know, like themselves in that way. And if you are taking advantage of me, of my time, of my emotions and everything, like that's cool. Like at the end of the day, I can't control anybody. All I can do is voice my truth about the situation. And I'm gonna just watch. Like if you're not gonna adjust, like, okay, like noted. Like I'm gonna have to see my way out. Like, you know, of course, like, you know, whether that's like limiting time, just like limiting like just like myself. And I think for me it's kind of just like that fade, because I realized that at the end of the day, like people go through their things, and you know, if it's something, and for me, I need time to see like, okay, is this a pattern? Unless it's something like super toxic, super like if you know, let me see if this is a pattern. Let me give you some grace. If it's not, if I see it's a pattern, okay, I'm at exit stage left. If it's a weird season that you're going through, okay, like let's talk about it. There's something about me. I love to talk about emotions, so I'm always down for it. So let's go. But yeah, sorry, that was a little something that we were talking about. I was just curious to see what everybody was thinking. But let's kind of continue on, just like what are some triumphs, what are some breakthroughs that you've gotten just, you know, from being single? Because I think another misconception is like we're just sitting here just waiting. Life doesn't begin until we have a partner. Growth doesn't and until we have a partner. And I feel like so many people kind of depend on just like, okay, when I get my partner, like then I'm gonna get my stuff together. We'll do it together. That person's gonna complete me. But it's just like, no, like
I kind of feel opposite of that. Like there's so many things I need to do to get myself together before I have a partner. In understanding myself in the projects and activities that I want to do, whether that's a career or extracurriculars. Like there's so many things I feel like I need to develop as a woman, as a person in general before all of that.
Right. I feel that I do. I really do. So what I guess I think for me, like a breakthrough and a triumph is kind of, I feel like kind of like what everybody has been saying, just the time to really just fully know myself. I feel that's why I love getting older. I feel like the older you get, the more you just kind of take off the chains and just like expectations that other people have put on you and society and everything. You really just take steps towards being your fullest self and just walking in your purpose. And I feel, especially just like with the pandemic, I feel like one thing that 2020 did was give everything 2020 vision. Like, let's just put a
2020
spotlight
vision.
on
Oh my
literally
God.
that. Like, everything to light.
That's so cool.
Like, everything became clear. You, like, all these things that we used to distract ourselves, like, it was all taken away. So you're just faced with yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, the lies that you've been telling yourself, all that stuff, and you have a chance to just work through it. And I feel like just in this past season has been the fruit of that work that I had to do last year on just like myself, on just how I saw so life, God, church, like so many things. And it's been really cool. So that would be like a triumph for me, just having that time to just work through this stuff. And we have the luxury of working through our stuff and not having to worry about working through somebody else's stuff. And, you know, like, so I definitely see that as a blessing. Well,
yes, yeah. I do want to add that I love the way you put that, seeing ourselves in 2020, because I'm realizing that that is kind of what 2020 was for me, especially after the pandemic kind of shut everybody down. And this, I do want to say, is one benefit in my mind of being single and living alone. You don't have to worry about anybody else as you try to get yourself together. You don't have to worry about anyone else about it. You don't have to worry about people being in your way. You don't have to worry about being embarrassed if you're doing one thing or another, because you're only focusing on yourself. I guess it's the true meaning of selfishness, but it's just the season it is, and at least in my life right now. So I just want to say, like, one of my biggest transfer breakthroughs to do, I wanted to work on myself, and I think especially in 2020, I had kind of a health breakthrough, you know, where I'm realizing there are things I haven't been doing and I need to do to be a healthier, better person. And 2020 is kind of a kickoff for that. Consistent exercise has always been difficult. I used to, give myself excuses. I would have to force myself just to go to the gym to walk for 30 minutes. I don't know what it was. I didn't hate walking. I didn't hate the gym. But like, then the pandemic hit and I'm at home and suddenly I'm walking in the park every day. I'm like, home videos, something that I could never do, especially if I was living with someone. I can do them. There's no one watching but myself. And so for me, this is breakthrough for me, honestly. Like, being single and, being at home, I've been able to really sit and work on to improve my health and, improve not just physical health, but mental health. And, a lot of people focus on that. And, because whether I'm single or with someone, these are things I'm going to have to work on regardless. So it's to have that time.
Girl. Just the older we get, like our mental health, our physical health, emotional health, like it's so important. We gotta take care of it. So Beverly.
Did you say Beverly?
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Biggest triumph.
I need to
Breakthrough.
stop being surprised when you call my name. Okay. My biggest triumph. My biggest triumph, I think, was realizing that I had power. Like, if we're is this still sort of in connection to the whole singlehood thing, or is this a completely different question?
Answer that question, girl. Answer your question.
Okay.
Answer your question.
So my biggest triumph, and I think this just it all really comes full circle for me, but my biggest triumph was realizing that I did have power. And I had the power to change my situation. I had the power to not just wait for things that I wanted to fall in my lap, but to go after things that I wanted and not feel bad for it. I think from the previous question of like what was your biggest struggle, this is one that I completely forgot. But in sort of answering that question as well, I didn't realize that in the past I had sort of this unworthy complex, kind of constantly replaying in my head, like no matter what it was I had, no matter what it was I did. I mean, you guys even heard when I first introduced myself, like even down to my degree. Everything I did, everything I had, everything I accomplished, to me, it never felt like it was enough. I would always receive the congratulations and the praise from other people. But for me and myself, it was just never satisfying and it was just never enough. And yeah, being single, being by myself, man, I really realized that is, to me, it just got very irritating. And so I think my biggest triumph was not just seeing that in 2020, but vehemently trying to just get rid of that in 2021. And I feel like even though it's only been a month and a half, what are we in? Yeah, a month and a half. I feel like I've definitely taken huge strides towards recognizing my power and recognizing my self-worth and not being afraid to recognize it. Like I think that's been a big thing for me. Like, yeah, no, I have the power to get things I want, and that's just that.
Exactly.
That's
End of
on the
story.
Mary Had a Little Lamb. Period.
Yes.
Am I young and hip?
Yeah. I don't understand. What do you mean? That's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
What?
Y'all
I don't
haven't
get it.
heard that?
You don't get it?
No.
Where the money resides. Don't look that up.
What?
I
And
was
that's
like,
on
Y'all
where
know I'm
Mary
giving all
Had a
these
Little.
good deals.
it's just like and that's on Mary. It's like and that's on period. It's like period.
Just like
Pretty much.
period. Don't.
It doesn't
I'm just
make
Oh
trying.
sense, but it
wow.
does. Just go
No,
with
but
No,
it.
it does not. Beverly, don't. It does not make sense.
it makes sense, but that doesn't take away from the fact that like that was straight truth, that was straight facts, and I'm really just proud of all of you guys. I know some of y'all like don't know me, like we just met today, but just the breakthroughs, like the triumphs, like just the vulnerability, just being able to just voice everything. Not I feel like not only is it powerful for us, but there are women, there are men who are struggling with this same stuff, and like you guys being so honest and being so open, like I know like breakthroughs coming. So with that being said, the last question is what advice would you give to somebody who is single, who is trying to be their best while they're waiting for God's best? See what I did there? Who is going through a tough time right now, just with everything. If you could give them one piece of advice, what would it be?
Take your time. Like, don't feel rushed because you are single and you're trying to meet, I guess, society's expectation of you of, getting married at a certain time, having kids at a certain time. Like, do things at your own pace, because like someone said before, like mental health is important. So like getting yourself right so that you can be right for, someone else is important.
That's true.
I think I would say to all my single friends who are really feeling the pressure from outside sources, no matter how well-meaning they might be. You know, when the pressure is high, whether maybe you're pressuring yourself or, you know, maybe your parents or relatives are, I would say, remind yourself that only you are living your life. And say, you know, that you don't want to, you know, have a family yourself, or, have give your parents grandchildren or anything like that. At the same time, no one else is going to live your life for you but you. And I think that at least has helped me put it in perspective when I'm feeling the pressure, because no matter when an actor must be married in 12 months, I have to think, well, she's not the one who's going to be married in 12 months. It's going to be me. So,
Exactly. So don't settle.
and that
Don't
kind of goes
settle.
to what you're saying, that helps you. Listen, you can take your time no matter what pressures around you, because you are the one that's going to be in that relationship. You are the one that's going to be taking those steps, and not the other people around you, or even whatever it is that your mind is telling you you need to do. Just keep in perspective that you're living your life in the best way you can, and that's not necessarily. I don't really see it as selfish so much as just the biggest truths you can, say to yourself. No one else is going to be in your shoes but you.
I think my advice would be to find and then take joy in the little things of you. Like, seriously. So whether it's waking up by yourself in the morning, like you're not always gonna wake up by yourself, but just think about that when you wake up in the morning and you're by yourself. Whether you're learning a new skill and you might not be the best, but you sat there and you took the time to learn it. Like, even after that, whether it's an instrument, a YouTube tutorial on how to do hair, how to cook, any little thing that you do, take joy in that. Congratulate yourself. Be proud of yourself. Um, every time you conquer a little fear, whether it's a social fear, an academic fear, any new avenue, just take joy in those little things and just really revel in amazement at yourself, and take time to do that, even if you're not the best. It's so important. And I think doing that can really redefine what our definition of quote unquote settling is. I think a lot of times we're not impressed by things that we should be impressed by. And yeah, that's just, you surprise yourself.
And I would say to live your life and don't wait to do certain things until a certain time. Like, if you have the opportunity to do something that you want right now, you should. Because there's no guarantee that you're going to get to some point. So if you have the chance to do something, then you should enjoy, those things right now. You don't have to wait for someone. You don't have to. And it could be as small as like going to a restaurant by yourself, or,
going
traveling someplace. Yes.
I don't even know if I've done that one.
A restaurant?
I've
kind
done
of
the
want
movie by
to.
myself. It was actually kind of
to.
weird. It was kind of weird, but I was just like, you know what?
I feel like restaurant feels more uncomfortable initially than a movie, because a movie, like, it's dark, like no one, it doesn't really matter. In a restaurant, people are like, oh, you're just there, like, just you.
You have someone coming with you.
Like, yes.
It's so awkward to just remove it. Like, it's okay. No, but yeah, take a look. I've definitely done it. But I love to do it myself. So there's that. But I think that's good advice. Like, this life, we have one life to live on this earth. Like, what if we just gave it our all? What if we just lived our best lives? What if we woke up each day just like, okay, I'm gonna choose happiness. I'm gonna choose joy. Like, I'm going to choose myself today. What would that look like? And I think for me, my piece of advice is kind of what everyone is saying, is just love yourself. Like, besides God, like, no one knows you. Like, no one's gonna love you like you can love yourself. Like, you don't have to wait for it. Love yourself. Do what makes you happy. Do what brings you joy. Love the people around you, and know that you are not alone in this. It can feel so lonely, like you're the only one going through it, or going through this stuff. Like, you are not alone. And this won't last forever. So That is my advice. Anyway, well, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for your time, your patience, and your willingness to be open and just to share. I'm so excited to, get like the feedback from this. I can't wait to watch this over again. You guys had such amazing things to just share, so much wisdom, and I love you guys.